Alright, so right here. So we get negative 2 over 2 minus 1, 1. So I get negative 2 for my slope. There's my point. Now I just got to plug and chug. Right, I've got everything I need. Y minus the y piece, 0. It's the slope times x minus the x piece. When the number itself is negative and you have a minus in the equation, they both have to be there. Right? That's minus whatever the x is. So it's minus negative 2. So of course this becomes plus 2. That's nice. Y equals negative 2x minus 4. And again, how do I check that? I use the point that I didn't use to create it. I use that in here. Negative 1 times negative 2 is 2. Minus 4 is negative 2. It works. It actually has that point. Why would number 5a be easier than this? It's easier than either one of these problems, number 5a. One of the points I give you is a very nice point to get. Yeah, one of the points is the y-intercept. So I know what b is. I can use the smaller equation of y. I know what b is. I only have to use this equation if I don't know what the hell b is. If I don't know what the y-intercept is. So a few of you guys were saying that that was the y-intercept or something, but that's not the y-intercept. What would x have to be if it was the y-intercept? X would have to be 0. So don't just plug whatever value you see in for b. It's got to be the 1 when x is 0. And that ain't true shit. In fact, here we see it's negative 4. While I'm thinking about it, has anybody successfully signed up for 120, 160? Did it work for you?
I haven't gone back yet.
You haven't tried yet? Nobody else has tried at all?
I've spoken with my...
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. I guess it hasn't opened up for everybody yet, right? Okay.
I've spoken with my counsel. She says I should take 160 after this. So that seemed like the best bet for me, or is this direction?
It completely depends on your major and where you want to go.
I'm thinking about probably going somewhere along perhaps the journalism line.
Then I'd say stats would be beautiful. I would hope people going into journalism, they need to all understand statistics because it always shows up in articles nowadays.
Is this a stupid question?
No. That's why your counselor said that. It makes sense to me. All right, so as you guys try, let me know if it works or not. They're supposed to have already cleared people, but then somebody had trouble. Remember, this course is weird. It doesn't exactly exist yet. So we have to make sure everybody understands what you guys should be able to do after you get done with this course. So let me know. As you try to sign up, let me know. Okay. Yes?
What's the best way to explain the last part of number 1? When it says guess the value of r, explain your reasoning.
Yeah, so
I understand that it's, because there's a pretty good correlation, right? And,
yeah.
I understand why, but I don't really know how to put it into words.
Bless you.
What words to use really.
So one part of it would be, one part of it's going to be the sign of the r. You could explain why it's positive or negative. Here, r would definitely be positive. Okay, so you can explain the points are going up, so it's going to be positive. And here, what does it mean if they line up perfectly? They line up exactly, perfectly linear. So they're all on the line. What does that mean? R would be what here? 1. So here, I would draw in my guess for the line of best fit, and I would say R is a roughly, it's not 1, but it's going to be sort of close to 1 maybe. Right? So why would it be sort of close to 1? Because the points are
Not perfect, but they sit close to the line.
good, perfect. That's exactly what you say. That's
Okay.
exactly what you say. So if you thought it was, if I had some points over there and points over there, then you can say R is something smaller, like 0.5 or something, or 0.4, because it's positive, but it's not. Some of the points get far away from the line. That kind of. That's all it is. Because R measures how tight the points are to the line. So that's how you explain. You talk about how close the points are to the line.
Okay.
Oops, I keep passing you by. What's up?
Practice test.
Which one?
3B.
Maybe. Oh, okay. And then we need to do number 6. I didn't end up putting number 6 on the answer key. So this is 3B. This is a really good example of why I say what I do about what you always try first. Because if you just go in thinking it's a cubes, you're screwed. What's 2 the cube of? I don't know. Something really gross, 1 point something. So this is no good. It's not a cubes currently, but it wants to be. So what's in its way to be a cubes? What do I have to do to this first?
Move it to
Take a 2 out. And you're left with x cubed plus,
27.
yeah, and that should be a very familiar number. So now I've got xxx, and I've got, what's 27y cubed? What's it made of 3 times over? 3's and y's, right? So 3y times 3y times 3y. Let me stop right there. So squares cuts everything in half. Cubes cuts everything in thirds. So for cubes, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and write the parts for yourself. So then you can just put them in the right places. So I get 2, and then I put a what here? Little dude and a big dude. I know you guys.
X plus 3.
You guys don't want to say it. Yeah. So it's going to be 1x plus 3
3y.
y. So if I put 1 of everything here, I'm going to have to put the other 2 of everything there. So at the end, I end up with 3 of everything. It just makes sense, scarily enough. So this x squared has to go here. So that gets me my x cubed. What goes in the middle? What sign? Minus. So it can be the cancellation dude, right? The guy from Pulp Fiction that cleans it all up. And then what minus what?
3xy.
Yeah, 3y times x. I like it. So 3xy. And then these guys finally get a place to be. Aw. 9y squared. I like it. So you can see the x cubed, bam, right? You can see the x cubed. You can see the plus 27y cubed, bam. Then you see this ugly thing there, but this kills that. And you see this ugly thing there, but this other thing kills that. It's beautiful. That little middle dude kills the other stuff that you don't want. But I'll say this. I was trying to figure out what to do with that. I didn't realize at first, but now going through some of the people's homeworks that have been turned in, they don't put cubes in this section at all in the textbook, which is remarkably silly to me, and I just didn't even think that would be possible. But I'm not going to put a cubes problem on the actual test. I'm going to put one in the bonus section, just to be fair, since the book didn't really talk about it and they don't really have problems regarding it. I'm not going to test you on it. I still want you to know how it works. glad. I'll put one in the bonus section just in case you're really good at these cubes. You can handle it. Is that understood? And it's also appreciated, hopefully. All right. Who did I?
The test for B and C.
Oh, okay. C is kind of the evil problem because 4b is not too bad. X cubed equals 16x. What tells me I have to do this problem a different way than solving equations before? What part of this problem tells me what to do?
The other side equals 0.
Why? What part of this problem tells me to do that? If this was, what do you got? If this was x plus 1 equals 16, would I subtract 16 to make this side 0? How would I solve this? Subtract 1 and be done with the damn thing, right? So why do I have to do something weird here? Because I got a higher power than 1 on something. That's why. So if you see an x cubed, x squared running around in an equation, you want to get it equal to 0, and then factor whatever happens once you get everything over on one side. So, 4a was easy. It started off equal to 0. You can just focus on factoring that thing, right? 4b is just one step away from that. What's in the wrong place? Or how do I get this side equal to 0? I just subtract 16x. Now that I've got it equal to 0, I can focus on doing what to this thing? Factor it. Now, how do I factor this? Is this a cubes?
X.
Good. All right. This is not a cubes because 16 is not cubed. Poor little x is not cubed. But you always try GCF first, just to save yourself from yourself. Try GCF first. So x, what's left inside?
X to 0.
Are you done factoring yet? No.
X minus 4.
Yeah, this is a little thank God problem, right? X squared xx, 1644 plus minus. So then what could x be? This also throws people off. But what do you make x equal so that x equals 0? Well, what do you say? Well, or let me ask you this. I've got something times something times something is 0. So either this is 0, done, or x minus 4 is 0, or x plus 4 is 0. So you get x equals 4, bam, x equals negative 4, bam. Yes, sir.
I did something like shorter, shortcut for this. I divided the whole thing from the beginning, divided by x. So it's going to be x squared 16.
I did a horrible thing. What could x be that I cannot divide by? Because x could be anything. It could be anything. And what am I not allowed to divide by? What can you not divide by?
0.
0. You can't divide by 0. So you can't divide by a variable unless you know it can't be 0. So the minute you divided by x, you assumed it wasn't 0, but that's actually one of the answers. So you only got those two answers, right?
I got, x4.
Well, you should get two answers.
Because I divided by x squared is going to equal to 16.
So that was the first mistake, because x could be 0, so you can't divide by it, because then that would be undefined. But then you would be left with this. Now, if you say x is 4, that's also not quite right, because what else can you square to get 16? Negative 4. And here's something I don't think I've told you guys yet. The power on this problem is a third power. There should be 3 total answers to this question then. If it was the highest power was 5, there should be 5 total answers. Some of them might be what's known as complex, imaginary. So if we only find the real ones, we might not find all of them. But here you go, 1, 2, 3 answers. That makes sense because I expect to have 3 answers. Okay. Number C is really quite evil because part of it looks factored already. So it's like somebody factored, but what they forget to do before they factored. What should have been over here before they factored? What should have been here? Why did we factor at this point, not earlier? Because we first had to make this side 0. So it's like somebody factored this side, but they didn't make this side 0 first. Those dorks. Right? Me. So you have to unfactor this dude and suck those things over so you can make that side 0. You got to like start over. You're like, oh shit, I got to multiply this back out, bring that stuff over, and then factor. That's how I do this problem. Because again, this only makes sense if the other side is 0. That's the only number that requires certain things to happen. One of them must be 0. So then I know I can get answers. If that side's not 0, then screw it. I can't do anything. So you have to FOIL this out, subtract that over, kind of like reset the problem, start over. Here, let me give you guys the answer key. And then we'll do number 6, because I didn't put number 6 on here.
Oh.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. All right. So we got to number 6, but I do have a request from the other day. I had that bonus question on there. Since we're talking about factoring, let me do that first. What was it again? 12. How'd it go?
12a squared b squared minus abc minus 50c squared.
Oh yeah, that's gross. All right. Anytime the middle number is 1, I'm going to find factors of that number that are 1 apart, so that they'll end up subtracted to be 1. That's kind of a general rule. So of course I kind of gave it away for the first step. What's the first step to do this? Run away screaming. No. Yeah, multiply. 12 times negative 50 is... What's 12 times 5? 60, so then add another 0. So I need factors of negative 600 that add to be negative 1. So they have to be 1 apart. So I would actually rather just start with things that are 1 apart, and then see if they multiply by 600, right? So like, for example, 20 and 21 are 1 apart.
No.
But 20 times 21 is
No.
420. So no good. So I'm just now it's like the Price is Right. You just make it a little bigger. 24 and 25. Now I go there. I desperately. The better you guys are with numbers. What's the last number going to be in the number I'm trying to get? 0.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to think of things that would end in 0. That I could also think about that to help me reduce the number of possibilities. Sure enough, 24 times 25 is 600. Which one has to be negative to make the middle one come out negative? 25. So that's my 2 numbers that I want to use. So there's nothing different about this problem. I made it bonus just because there were more letters than we're used to, and the number was bigger than we're used to. But the process doesn't give a shit about that. We do. Because we got to do it. The process is just sitting there waiting to be used. So this guy stays. This guy stays. I rewrite the middle term as what? What do you think I would put first? No, I would put minus 25 first, so that negative's not in the middle. It doesn't mess me up. But again, it doesn't matter at the end. It doesn't matter. But there's one little thing you can do for yourself to be nice to yourself. Right? I'm going to be mean to you. I'm a math teacher. It's my job. You want to be nice to yourself, not add extra meanness on top. So I would rather put the negative one first. Minus 25 what? ABC. Plus 24 ABC. So all I did was take negative 1 ABC and making it a negative 25 ABC plus 24 ABC. That's true. But those numbers came from this, so I know the grouping is going to work. The grouping is guaranteed to work. So now you just, I don't care about the variables, to be honest. The process is going to take care of all the variables for me. Right? What comes out of these two here? Anything come out of the numbers? $25 is 5 times 5. Is 5 going to 12? Okay, no, nothing comes out of the numbers. What about the letters? I can take 1A and 1B. And that's it. And I'm left with 12 AB, 25 C. Oops, got it. Plus, what do I take out of this to make it the same as this? 2
And C.
C. So then I'm left with 12AB minus 25C. And I know I'm on the right track. Those are the same. You guys understand the process didn't change at all. The process didn't change. I just had a bigger number than normal to deal with, and I'm hoping some of you guys understand what I was doing here. Instead of trying to find all the factors of 600, I would never think of 24 and 25 multiplying to be 600. And I know math really well, but it's just not going to come to my brain. I'm going to think 20 and 30 and 6 and 100 and 60 and 10. I'm not going to think 24 and 25 right off the bat. Shit. But what adds to be negative 1? That's an easy question. Shit, yeah, you just start listing things, and that was